Hey YouTube. So as you may have noticed, I didn't post a review last week. My intention was to do both Hellraiser 3 and 4 within that week, but unfortunately I ran into a bit of a personal problem. I discovered that I was living my own horror movie and that I had bed bugs. So I've been dealing with that for the past 7 days, and it's going to be an ongoing thing for the next couple of weeks. And that's why the video quality is so poor too. I've taken my video camera elsewhere. I'd originally intended to film the review there, and then I got busy, and then I came here to clean, and it's been a whole thing. So bear with me. It's like I've still got my mic and everything, so you're gonna be able to hear it really well. But the camera is kind of like filming on a potato. But let's get to the review. For those that are a little bit late to the show, I have been reviewing the Hellraiser movies leading up to the new one, Hellraiser Judgement. And I got to watch Hellraiser 3 last week. And I've seen this one multiple times. I've seen all of them at least once or twice. The first 4 I've seen probably more than all the others. And Hellraiser 3 is the Hollywoodized version of Hellraiser, I would say. It's the one that has the biggest budget, or looks like it has the biggest budget, because it's bigger and it's louder, but it's also sillier. It's not bad. I actually really like this movie. I think I like Hellraiser 3 more than Hellraiser 2, and Hellraiser 2, it's like the last 20 minutes is kind of what ruins the entire movie for me, which is a shame because the rest of it's beautiful. But Hellraiser 3 isn't as frightening as the first two. It's not as disturbing. There's still some of that imagery that people are accustomed to with the Hellraiser series. It's still there. The series follows a reporter who sort of stumbles onto this guy who has bought this pillar, and it turns out Pinhead is trapped inside this pillar, and he's like, hey, if you get me out, bring me bodies that I can absorb so I can make myself whole, because at the end of Hellraiser 2, Pinhead was separated from his humanity, so the demonic side of, the pure Cenobite version of Pinhead is what we get to see in this film. And Doug Bradley, I think he has more screen time in this one than any of them, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe number 4 is pretty close, but until the third one, Pinhead didn't have a lot of screen time. And I kind of compare Doug Bradley's performance in this one to Bela Lugosi's in the original Dracula. He's just having a blast. He is owning it. He is, not only is he still terrifying, but there are times where he's cold and he's calculating. He's just so interesting. And I love the dynamic between Pinhead and his human half, because his human half is still played by Doug Bradley, and this Elliot Spencer character, he's a good man. He's just kind of this guy that had originally stumbled upon the puzzle box, and he's not a terrible guy, and he's trying to do the right thing by helping out the main characters. But there's a point in the film that I really love where Elliot Spencer comes face to face with Pinhead, and Pinhead's sort of like, you like this sort of thing just as much as me. Don't act like you don't enjoy it. And there's a moment, because I could have totally ruined it and had it be really cliche and have Elliot Spencer be like, no, I'm nothing like you. But there's a moment where he pauses, and you can tell that he's sort of thinking about it. He's thinking about that he's kind of a messed up character, and he realizes that. He's been trying to make penance for that the entire movie, but he eventually comes full circle and faces his inner demon. And the other Cenobites in this movie are really, really cheesy. The original 3 from the first 2 don't make any appearances because they were killed off at the end of the second one. So Pinhead recruits some in a way, and they're kind of gimmicky. Like there's one that throws CDs, and there's one that's got like a camera for an eye, and he makes all sorts of really ridiculous puns. And those, it's like they look kind of cool, but it's like with the Cenobites, being cool isn't enough. With the Cenobites, you have to be. It's like with the original like core 4, you were always terrified when they were on screen. There was a presence. Not only were they neat to look at, and you were afraid to enjoy looking at them, but there was a presence to them. These other ones are kind of just, they're henchmen. That's really all they are. And the lead actress is very good. I think I like her. Now that I've seen this a couple times, I think I like her more than Kirsty Cotton. I think this actress is. I think her character's more interesting because there's this whole dynamic where she has dreams about her father, and her father had gone MIA and was while he was in the military, and she has nightmares about him being left behind by his comrades. And that's sort of adds a whole new element which comes in later in the film, and I think while she is definitely brave, there's appropriate weakness there too, where she's not like a total badass, but when it comes time to face down with the Cenobites, she steps up. So Hellraiser 3 is a bit more fun than the other two. It's not goofy like Nightmare on Elm Street 5 and 6 level, but it sort of teeter-totters on that thing where it's between ridiculous and stupid and being a good film. But I think Hellraiser 3 is definitely a worthwhile entry in the series. It's not my favorite of the sequels. We haven't gotten to that one yet. I won't reveal which one that is. I'll give you a hint though. It's not Hellraiser Revelations. I'll tell you that much. So Hellraiser 3, have you seen it? What did you think of it? What's your favorite Hellraiser movie, if you have one? No spoilers for the sequels if you're going to mention the sequel. As I said, I'm doing the other Hellraiser films up to Hellraiser Judgment, and I will be reviewing that film. If you like horror, if you like urban fantasy, check out my books on Amazon. They're available on paperback and ebook. So be sure to check that out, and if you want to see more, click below and subscribe.